That is a very beautiful song, isn't it? I mean, speaking about the relationship and the love between a father and a son. As a father, what exactly are you doing? What are the lines you are drawing for your son, for your boy or your boys? What impact are you making in the life of your son? And what exactly are you teaching them? What sort of man are you hoping they would grow up to be? Welcome to Prime Morning. My name is Asieduwaa, Akumia, and it's time for Let's Talk Relationship. My guests are seated now. This morning for Let's Talk Relationship, the topic for discussion is preparing boys to become empowered husbands. Yes. There are a whole lot of times where some women who are having difficulties in their relationships and marriages say that, okay, maybe it's the upbringing of her husband. That's what a lot of people say, that the background probably wasn't right. The upbringing probably wasn't right. Okay. So it is part of the reasons that we have decided to bring a conversation like this to your doorstep. So get ready to learn a lot. Get ready to send in your questions. Any question at all, my guests are here and they will answer it all for you. So it's time for me to introduce them to you. Ladies first, of course. Ethel, Adjololo, Marfo. She's the BoysDocta. BoysDocta and founding director, JSA Boys Mentorship. She is great for this conversation. Good morning, Ethel.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you too?
I'm awesome. And I'm happy that you're here for us to have this particular conversation. I'm seated to our right, the only gentleman that we have seated here, Edmund Awaitey. I hope I got the pronunciation right. Okay. Edmund Awaitey, father. He's a father. He's an entrepreneur and founder of Value Added Books. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing great.
Sweet. Now, the conversation of preparing boys or grooming boys, having a son, or maybe you have an adopted son or a relative son that you are looking after. I was saying earlier that most of the times it's like when a child reaches a certain age, certain things becomes difficult, relating to them, making them understand certain things, you know. Sometimes before you realize, they even go off and not really, and even finding it quite hard to come as close as to you as they used to when they were very little. So in relation to boys, what exactly can be done, or how exactly can we do this? I want to start with you, Ethel.
Thank you, Asieduwaa, and hello to all your lovely viewers. So it's hard to be a parent to children. Generally, it's hard because you go through things that no one actually prepared you for.
Yeah.
There's no manual to parenting. It's just by the grace of God that someone may have been able to raise a very successful human being.
Yeah.
But aside that, it behoves on the parent to study what kind of child God has given to you through prayer, through reading, to expand your horizon about how to parent a particular child. All children are not the same.
Right.
So like I said in the beginning, parenting children is hard, but parenting boys is even harder because, you know, when boys and girls are growing up, girls are naturally very adaptable to learning social skills.
Yeah.
I used to have a kid salon initially before I zoomed into boys.
Okay.
And when I had the salon, the girls were always ready to help around at the salon. When things scattered in the salon, they were ready to fix the problem. And some of the boys just sat on the fence and, you know, playing with games or watching telly.
Yeah.
So I realized that there was a big gap in how we're raising our sons. And that's how come I started this movement. And so when it comes to boys, there needs to be an intentional way of raising them.
Wow.
When we are raising girls in our homes, we keep drumming it in that, hey, don't do it this way.
Yeah.
When you marry one day, you have to serve your husband properly. But that consciousness is not given to boys.
Right.
We don't have that equal consciousness for boys. So we at Junior Shapers Africa Boys Mentorship with Uncle Eddie and co are drumming it in the boys that whenever we're having teachings or learning lessons and we notice any character deficits, we tell them, no, when you marry one day, you shouldn't do this to your wife. You know, so that we start drumming it in, preparing them as husbands, you know. So, Asieduwaa, To manage a boy, you need knowledge.
Okay.
And that's why we are coming up even with the Moms of Boys Summit, breakfast forum, to conscientize moms. Because sometimes moms lose it.
Yeah.
Because, you see, emotionally, moms cannot take the robust and the energetic side of boys. And so moms lose it. And it's more sad that moms don't have support also from men in some cases. Some are alone. You know, even we have some men at home, but they are not present. They are unavailable emotionally. So moms need help, you know, in this area. So we are organizing Moms of Boys Breakfast Summit on 1st May to help moms, and another one on 25th May. I'm sure we'll talk more about it later, but this is what I can say about a mother who has a boy and having challenges. You need to steady your son and also get knowledge.
There's this perception, or there's this thing out there where it looks like a father would do better raising a son than a mother would do. So when you have children and as a single mother, you have boys, and then the boys are growing. Before you realize, the question or the things that somebody will say, and you wonder, okay, so it means that as a woman, there is nothing proper you can do to bring up your son?
Yeah, thank you so much. Mothers have a critical role to play in the development of their sons.
Okay.
And we normally say, like pools repair, but unlike pools attract. I have a son and 2 daughters. My son is more closer to the mom than to me to a large extent.
Okay.
So, as Ethel said, the relationship between the mother and the son is critical, and the knowledge you have about the son is important. So, as much as the man is, you know, by nature, men, sometimes we are intolerant, and then the mother is tolerant. So there are lots of things that he can easily confine the mother. So the knowledge of that is very important. So as parents, there's a need for you to, it is the responsibility of the two of you to be able to bring up the child to the expectation of God. So you must be able to have knowledge of the temperamental differences among your children and know how to handle them strategically. Some of them, especially those who are the sanguine, they can easily forgive you when you say something negative about them. Because they are more tolerant, they laugh about things, but the melancholic will not forgive you. They are so internalized that when you do something that is very painful to him, he takes it forever. So you must be able to understand that the personality differences among your children and to be able to handle their unique temperament, to be able to bring them. So knowledge of our children is very critical. And I can compare it like the construction of a building. You know, when you want to construct, the mortar that you do to maybe build a house, when you in the initial stage, when you do the mortar, initial stage, you can easily do it, you can mold it to any, but the moment it becomes concrete, it's very difficult to be able to change it. So that's the change that we have to bring about in their life. From the onset, you must socialize them, and you must bring them to the values you want to inculcate in them. Psychologists have established that between the ages of 2 to 7, their habits are built. So you must be able to inculcate the values within those things. And that's why you have to be very careful about the kind of people they associate with, the kind of social intervention, social event you send them to, the kind of friends that they have. You must be able to know them and be able to link them. You must know their temperament and be able to hold them so that you'll be able to bring them to. They may not always, they have their unique desire, aspiration, and that things, but they need guidance. And that's why the unique relationship between a father and mother is needed. So it's a collective responsibility. And if God blesses you and the parents and the mother are living together, then you must be grateful to God because the mother has a strength, the father has a strength. So you must be able to combine the strength of these things to be able to bring the child to the expectation of their father.
Now let's come to the practicality, a vivid description of what parents could do when raising boys. What exactly can you do? I mean, I love the fact that you've given us an age range with which would be perfect for parents to really inculcate all the necessary things that they need to inculcate in your boy. So please, parents at home, let me reiterate this, that if you're lucky and you have a young son, I think that if they are in their adolescence, that conversation will come a little later. Yes. But if you're lucky and you have a young son between the ages of 2 and 7, this is the ripe time. It's a perfect time for you to inculcate all that you will inculcate in them, for them to be the man that you hope for them to grow into. So please, let's keep that in mind, okay? We are talking on preparing boys to become empowered husbands. Now, still on what exactly I was saying, I want the practicalities of what exactly, as a parent, as a mother, as a father, what you can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when it comes to children, they are more of people who watch than listening to instructions.
Okay.
So children learn by watching.
Okay.
So you can't tell your child maybe he shouldn't be eating in the bedroom when you as a parent eat in the bedroom. So first thing is exemplary leadership as a parent. Okay, so whatever you want your child to model, you must be prepared to model that, because children learn best by watching.
What they see,
Exactly.
Right.
Then number 2, the power of words. You know, back then in the days, in our generation, most parents raised us in a toxic way, whereby the least thing they unleash insults on you from your forefathers, and you know. So we are used to that way of correcting children. The least thing, we are screaming on top of our voices and shouting, but we've forgotten that the children of today are exposed to other forms of child raising.
True.
They can raise themselves even on social media.
That's true.
So if you keep shouting on him and he learns from social media that parents are not supposed to be screaming, they are supposed to negotiate with them, he starts disrespecting you because he sees that you don't know anything about parenting. So let's watch our words. Words are powerful. Words can build wealth. Words can destroy. And so don't be quick to say, papa, say now, papa. You know, you are putting it in his mind that his father is of no good, and he will also be of no good.
Right.
So, mothers, I know how annoying it can be when maybe you and your man are not getting along very well, and you can see that trait in your son.
Right.
But be careful not to, you know, spit it out there that you're just like your dad. Those words affect the boy's image and personality in the long run. Yes. And then one thing I want to add, because I don't want to say it all, Uncle Edmund might have something to add, is if you're a mother, don't make your boy your surrogate husband. You know, some mothers who are not getting the right affection and attention from their husbands are turning their boys into this shadow husband, where they are putting all their emotional burdens on the boy, discussing their emotions with their boys. You are overburdening the boy. By the time he is old enough to marry, he won't have space for another woman. He's tired of soaking in your emotional problems. So now when he has to cleave and marry somebody, you are still there in the background.
Ones that we call mama's boy?
Mama's boy, papa. You know, so having to cleave from you to now build his home becomes a challenge, because he's handling your emotional problems. You are still clinging on to him. He can't just be to take care of another woman. He's legally responsible.
This explains it.
Yes.
Because I've been wondering, how difficult should it be for some men sometimes to accept the fact that I am married now, this is my wife, I have left my mother and father's home to cleave onto those women, so she and I are one now.
So as a mother, why find other support systems? Find a women's group, find other people to vent your emotional problem.
Son.
Not your son. Your son is not your husband. You know, allow your son to impact another woman positively. That woman may even buy you a Benz for raising a very independent, strong husband. You know, so you say, Mommy, thank you for raising such a good man for me. You know, so stop making your son a shadow husband. It won't help him.
Wow. Wow. So you act what you want. You are putting
Model
out
it.
there. Model it.
Yes.
Model it. And then the next one is your words. They are very powerful. You need to be mindful what you say to your child. And the next one is stop making your sons a shadow husband. Wow. Edmund.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for the contribution. And what I can also add to what he said is the ability to listen to them.
Okay.
They have emotional needs, they have expectations, and sometimes we are quick to judge them. So we must be able to have time to listen to their needs. When they are back from school, you create an environment that they can easily confine in you what they've learned from school, what they've learned from their friends. When they're able to have that confidence and you're able to teach them certain things, they will not hide things from you. So we must be able to listen to them attentively. We must be able to understand their expectations, and we must be able to correct them strategically and with wisdom.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes, in fact, the temperamental differences among the children are critical in their bringing. The sanguine, who, as I've said, will forgive. The melancholic, they are so emotional. And little things that you do to them actually destroy their potential. So for them, when you do something that you have to go and tell them, oh, I'm sorry that I've done this thing to you, and other things, and you bring the best, because for them, they do more of internalized assessment, and they see a lot of problems. So their problem they see outweigh the opportunities. So they always need confidence to be able to tell them that this. So that is listening to them and then have attention for them and correct them when they have to be corrected.
Okay.
It's very important. Sometimes you think that, oh, because he's my only son, he's my only...
I want to pamper him.
No,
I don't want him to cry.
You build that responsibility in them so that in the future, when you are not there, you'll be able to stand on your own.
Okay.
And that is one of the challenges that parents are facing now, because they will have to carry the future generation. You must give them responsibility. That's empowerment, is giving them responsibility in terms of mental preparation, in terms of spiritual empowerment, in terms of financial empowerment. All these things must be inculcated to them, that this, maybe you will be the first person among you, the boys may be the first. Then he has a responsibility towards the junior ones. So you must be able to let it be conscientized that these are responsibilities that you have, and then you build confidence in them.
Okay.
When you build that confidence in them,
Okay.
they see that they are able to actually take any challenge that comes in your way. And then you assure them of your support.
Okay.
That when you are doing this and you face any challenge, let me know. Any challenge that you face, discuss with me.
Right.
Let's see how best. And you all find out their opinion about issues. So these things that you have brought, how do you think we have to solve it? And listen to them. So they may have a different way of solving it. Yes, sometimes you can guide them in terms of that, but don't criticize them when they have a different way of finding a solution to the problem. And when you do that, and some of these, you do it in collaboration with the mother. So when you see that element of togetherness, unity, then you'll be able to grow together. So these are additional contributions that I have.
Okay, so Ethel, earlier you did mention something that, for the olden days, raising up a child, it was totally different from today. Now we have children, or we have grown men and women today who are from that era, who, you know, had parents or grandparents raising them at Mebuwo, and then they'll beat you, they'll shout at you, you know, all those things. But they feel that all those things contributed to the kind of people they have grown to be. And a lot of them feel like, oh, I am a better man, I'm a better woman, I am doing well, So there is the need to pass on whatever that I have learned, or whatever that made me who I am today, to the child. In a situation like that, where a parent has that knowledge or has that understanding, how can you say that, do away with however you were treated or however you were brought up, and try to now readjust yourself to today's world? How can you do that?
So what I can say to that is that as we grow, we have to analyze or review what has worked for us and what hasn't worked for us. We have to be ready to relearn and unlearn. Okay, fine. I was also brought up in a very, disciplined way, and it has helped me. But you see, being a successful person involves a lot. Your emotional intelligence, your mental health. It's a holistic growth, spiritual intelligence, everything. So some people look successful, but Asieduwaa, I bet you they are not all right. Yes, because if your child comes up with a problem and the first thing is to scream at them, not even to sit down, how do you feel about this thing that has happened? You know, those are ways to start making your child feel comfortable enough to even speak up. Yeah. A parent who is successful, bank manager, all that, would just start screaming. Maybe they called you from your son's school that he has bullied somebody or he has done something bad. then the first thing you did was to slap him or to, beat him. It means that you are successful, but you are not emotionally intelligent because of the toxic background you grew up from.
Right.
So success is not about doing well, probably physically for everyone to see, but your emotional state. So those are things that parents must start developing themselves to be emotionally intelligent, to be emotionally regulated, to raise emotionally regulated children or future adults.
Right.
So yes, some of the things that we had in the past were good. Discipline, hard work, diligence. Some of the children today are very lazy. Yes. But we grew up from a background where we did it ourselves. We scrubbed the bathroom, but now a house help will come and do it. So those are the things that parents are not editing very well. They are letting house helps do stuff for their children, but they are screaming on on top of their children and all that.
Right.
So they have messed everything up. Do you get what I'm saying?
That's what I was trying to say.
There's a confusion.
There's a confusion.
Yes. So parents must sit down and analyze very well and edit very well what will work for the future of your child. Okay? Emotional intelligence is very important for the child of today. They are very much connected to their emotions now. Our emotions were never considered. It's take it or leave it.
Yeah, exactly.
Though we had parents,
you not
yes,
count.
we had some parents who were very, very matured and considerate. My parents, for instance, they always took our opinions at family devotions. What do you think? I'm very grateful to have such parents. But largely, most parents were like, take it or leave it. Yes, but you can't do that to today's child. And what you are putting in your young boy right now will be harvested in his teenage years.
It's true.
When boys get to their teenage years, let me tell all mothers out there, he'll start isolating from you. Maybe you've started experiencing it. It's not abnormal. It's normal. But what you should feel comfortable about is how you have built him up to solve his own problems. A time will come, he'll be going through some things and he will not want to tell you. He will want to handle it himself. And that is where you have to trust yourself as a parent that, look, I gave him all the necessary training. He'll be fine. I allowed him to attend JSA boys mentorship sessions. And so those tools should help him, yes. So, but if you are a mother and some mothers call me, my son is not talking to me. I've been going to his room every morning to get him to talk. I said, you are rather pushing him further away.
Wow.
Yes, allow him. Once in a while, you can decide to have a routine check. Maybe you do it every Sunday evening, and he knows that Sunday evenings I have a tete-a-tete with my mom. That's okay, but not to be bugging your son every day. He'll push you further away and trust his friends for that kind of comfort and
that's
support.
where the dangers usually
start. That's it. So learn to leave your son alone and trust God. Have faith. Let your son know that he can always come to you, but don't push him too much when he's getting into
chasing him.
When he's getting into the teenage years by chasing him. You're right. Yeah. So parents must note this, about the boys. Yes.
Now, looking at the influence that technology has on everybody right now, when you go on the internet, it's like, okay, we are all trying to learn from the Western culture, to adopt the Western culture, the things they do and all of that. But when you see the kind of videos that are posted out there, you have a parent, you see the whites, they don't shout on their kids. It's only the African Americans that I will whoop your ass, like those things. But with the whites specifically, we are trying to learn from them mostly.
Yes.
They don't shout at their kids. They don't beat them. All that. But somebody would say that these kids, majority of the time, especially the boys, end up not turning out too good. So you have a 16-year-old boy takes a gun and then goes on a mass shooting. A 15-year-old boy, this. And you wonder, these are people that you could tell that they try to be friends with their boys, with their children, right from childhood. But what then could be wrong? What then could have gone wrong in the process or in their upbringing?
Okay. Yeah.
So is it wrong that as a mother or as a father, for you to try and be friends all through and through with your child, especially boys?
To a large extent, there must be a balance. In a case that you must create opportunity where they can come to you and discuss some of the things that are worrying them. If you are so autocratic, they hardly come to you to discuss some of these things. And there are other things that they will learn from their friends that will influence them. So you must have that balance. And then as Ethel said, you must intermittently create opportunity for them that let's discuss what are your worries, what are your needs, what are your expectations, what are your concerns. That atmosphere must be created so that they can just come to you, and when you have... See, they must see that you are the comfort zone that they can easily come when they are having challenges. When you create that environment, they will be... And understanding them, the temperaments are quite different in terms of the behavior of the children. So if you know those temperaments and you know how to handle them, you'll be able to handle most of the things. And so emotional intelligence, as he says, is very key. Maturity, emotional maturity, how to handle most of their issues with intelligence is key. And then the another thing that we need to do is we must give our children responsibilities. Sometimes we have house boys,
like
house girls, yes.
Yeah.
But in my case, they have shared a responsibility. Everybody does something.
For home chores?
For home chores.
Okay.
You do that. Because if you are not careful, some of us have gone through certain kind of training that we see, it was too hard. But if we want to pamper our children too, then we will not be empowered them to be responsible in the future.
Right.
So you must be able to give them responsibility. You must be able to monitor them. You must be able to make sure that they are consistent with whatever they do. And then when they do something that is praiseworthy, you have to commend them. When it is also not, you have to let them know that what you've done is not good. Sometimes academically, when they come, I ask them to evaluate their own academic performance and see what is done. And then why you have been able to do well in this. And then you must understand, because if you are not able to understand the problem, you'll not be able to find a solution to it. So we must be able to create an environment where our children can easily confide in us. And then we must also try to build a relationship with the network of friends that they have.
Okay. So I watched this series. There's a series on Netflix called Young Sheldon. And I love that series so much because it teaches you about parenting and then all that. There are diverse ways to look at this. But there's this particular scene, I think, in the season 4 or so, where the eldest child, the eldest boy, Sheldon's brother, he's 17 years old. Now, at 17, he feels like, he has to get a job. And then he gets the job, and he feels, he's making money. So I don't want to go to school. Besides school, I'm not even doing well in class. My grades are terrible. So let me just drop out of school. He goes to discuss it with his parents. Initially, they didn't want to agree. But then they thought about it, and they were like, okay, it seems he's making a good amount of money and all of that. Then he starts feeling like, okay, now I am grown. So I have to move out of the house. If you are not going to let me move out, and the parents said no. Okay, if you're not going to let me move out of the house, I have enough money to take care of myself,
Look at that.
to go out and rent and then all that. At what age would you say? I mean, I watched it and I was like, what are the parents doing wrong? It looks like there's something that is not being said. They're not communicating something properly. Because how can your son come to you? He's 17. Okay, I think at age 18, they are allowed to go do whatever they want to do. Exactly. So in a situation like that where your son feels like, okay, I'm making money. Now, social media, they are making so much money on social media. Content creating. They are making so much money. So if your son is to come to you, he's not 18, he's, let's say, like 16, 17 years old. And then he feels like, I am ready to be on my own and do things on my own. How should you handle such a situation?
That's a very interesting dynamic, and I see it's coming to Ghana very soon.
Yes.
But under the Constitution of Ghana, a child is one under 18 years old. So I think that should be pointed out to the child in our Constitution, that you're still a child under my care. If something should happen to you right now, I'll be held responsible. You want to move out of the house, it means that you are no longer under my guidance, my security, and out there is rough. The children of today, they don't know that the world itself is a tough game.
Yeah.
Every day, you have to play the matrix and all that about how to live, So you must let him know that under the laws of Ghana, you are a child until after 18. After 18, you are old enough, you can vote and all that. So if you have a child giving you that pressure right now, use the laws of Ghana for him. Also, even 18, he's still young, but you as a parent, get him a mentor or a coach to open his eyes. You as the mother, he's familiar with you. You're always giving him advice. He feels like, oh, a debut, you know. So you need to find your son a mentor. Sit with your son, find out his interests. Find out if they are, viable. If they have sustainability. There's this child that has seen Ronaldo and wants to be like Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He's still a child.
Okay.
But he doesn't know what Ronaldo has been through to get there.
That's it.
Get him a mentor, a coach, someone who can break things down for him that, look, football, there's a retirement age. You need to think further. You need to build a career. Be an accountant and be a footballer so that if football doesn't work, you are an accountant. You can work on your own. So as the mother, don't take everything upon yourself. Seek help. It could be that career mentor in a church. It could be a pastor that can speak sense into your son. Boys, at a certain point, they stop listening to their moms.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
So find him somebody that he can explain, break things down about life to him, because he's been with you, he's been tied to your apron since childhood.
Yeah.
He needs another person to teach him about life, teach him how to be a man.
You know, not to cut you, but with this same thing you're saying, in the same scenario I was given with young Sheldon. So this young guy ends up finding solace with his grandmother's boyfriend, who is called David. Now, he is somebody that it's like, he just goes with the flow. He just wants to enjoy life. He just wants to, but he's very disciplined. He's doing his thing and all of that. So instead of him to go to his parents for advice on certain issues or certain matters that he might be facing, he would prefer to go to Dave.
Okay, so this is where, as the mother, please, you also be discreet about the kind of mentor you choose for your son.
Right.
Some mentors will lead your son astray. You must have a mentor that you and the mentor agree on where the child should be going. Even if the child has his own opinions about how to live his life, this mentor must be for you somehow.
Okay.
Yes, so choose wisely.
He must be in your corner.
Thank you, that's the right word I missed. That mentor must be in your corner, not someone that's throwing all the values you've given your son into the bin, you know. So mothers, watch out very well for men who can impact your son. It's hard to find these days.
It's very hard.
But if you come to GSA Boys Mentorship, I can assure you, we'll provide you one. Thank
Right,
you. Yes.
So in addition, what happens is that, as I said, we must be able to build connection with the children. I mean, the friends of our children and their parents.
Oh, they are friends.
Friends. So you must know their friends and their parents, and that network must be built. And sometimes we miss it a lot, so that they'll be able to know that this child of mine is a friend to you, and we must link with these parents as well, so that they'll be able to monitor the behavior of our children in a relationship. Because most of them can be influenced by some of their friends that they have. But if the parents know that your eyes are on them, you'll be able to monitor them. They know you. Whenever anything happens, they can call you. That is for them. So apart from we knowing the children, the friends of our children, we must also link up with their parents. And that must be intentionally done. To be able to have, you may not have a lot of them, but the key that are influential in the life of a child, you must be able to know them. And then in addition to that, you should be able to also have time to find out why you want to do some of these things. And they all say that there's a saying that so tell him about the consequence of the decision that he's making.
Okay.
And its impact on his life. When you'll be able to take your time to explain some of these things to him or her, he'll be able to understand. And you have to link him to other people who have gone through similar life and then build that relationship with them so that they can also, in addition to what you have told him, they can also learn from other people.
Okay.
So when you build that relationship with them, sometimes if that relationship is not built, it is difficult picking certain advices from you. There are people that when they come and say, there's something I've seen in your life that I would like to discuss you. You are easily willing to learn and listen because they've built a relationship with you already. Yeah. But if that relationship is not built,
who are you? What are you trying to do?
That's it. So the relationship that we have with our children and their parents and their friends is critical to be able to help them so that collectively be able to actually bring them the standard that we want to.
Now, with a parent or parents whom unfortunately could not have such an opportunity to listen to you wonderful people like this and sharing all this and to watch Prime Morning.
Of course, of course.
You know, since the early years of their boys who are now grown, are now could possibly be facing characters or behaviors that are not too good from their boys. So it feels like it's too late because the boy is grown, disrespectful. You can't tell him anything. You can't control him. Don't do this. That is what he wants to do. And then goes out and brings you problems of all sorts. But let's say he's still living under your roof and all of that because he's not really ripe yet to be out there. Although it seems like it's too late, with a situation like that, as a parent, what can you start doing right?
Well, all hope is not lost yet. First of all, you as the parent must analyze where you've also gone wrong or what you have contributed to this situation. Okay. We parents, we don't do that. We don't ask for feedback. We
are never wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to analyze where you've also gone wrong, and probably you need to have a chat with your son and tell him, look, this is my fault. Let children also know that you accept blame. You take responsibility with full chest, you know, and that you want to make things right with him. You know, most importantly, pray about your...
I'm sorry, with a father or a mother who hasn't built that connection with
No,
their
pray.
child.
No, as a mother or a father who is about to embark on this journey, pray to God for wisdom.
Right.
Yes, pray to God.
Okay.
And it's hard to show a disrespectful boy. It's hard to show him love and kindness from mothers, especially, you know how mothers love their son.
Yeah.
But this way you have to just, you know, ask God for that big heart to show love and kindness to your son.
Yeah.
So that when you're talking to him, he can come down to your level and understand where you're coming from. But number one, admit your mistakes, where you've gone wrong. Maybe it's how you started it all off. You were allowing him too much liberties. Okay. And so this is what has caused him to have that excess power and, abusing his, how do I say, his opportunities as a child. Yeah. So mother, find out what you have done wrong. Ask God for wisdom. If your son is not listening to you, it's time to get somebody to come in. There's a mother that called me, and I got one of our mentors to have a chat with the son. He just said, hi, my name is so-and-so, you know, I just want to have a chat with you. Your mother is broken. Your mother wants to have a great mother and son relationship with you again, and he asked me to do this on her behalf. Like, the man is matured, he went about it well. So I started engaging the boy. The boy also spoke a lot about the things that he hates about the mother. You know,
he started just
pouring out
about it.
They also need that opportunity to vent and tell us what they are feeling so that the mother can know. So it's not a one-sided thing, you know. Yes, so find a way. If your son is agreeable, he can have a chat with you. Even at this point, use the opportunity. If he won't, you need to get help. I can help. That's why I'm here.
Ethel is here to help.
Yes. But some situations are very, very, very bad, you know. But don't lose hope. God can restore that boy for you. There are men who went through several things. And look, if your son is becoming crazy, stubborn, whatever, sometimes God is using it as an opportunity to bring out the best in him. Gold must go through fire before we can really appreciate gold. So don't always expect your child to move from level 1 to level 2, level 2 to level 3, smooth journey all the time. Allow for mistakes, allow for disappointment, heartbreaks. Just pray to God that your son will be safe, he won't die. Yes. But parents, be ready, brace yourself for some of these things. Yes, brace yourself. Yes.
Edmund.
Yes.
What would you
in addition to, as he said, the prayer as a Christian, the prayer has a potential and it's powerful to transform people's heart. The Bible says that the heart of a man or the heart of a king is in the hands of God. Yeah. So it is God that will be able to transform the life of people internally. And when that internal transformation is done, it can have external benefit. So admission of what you've done is, and the way you say it, you don't have to justify that, oh, you did it because of this.
That's another problem.
That's it. So that element of justification, and when the child sees that you have truly admitted that you were at fault, and then you are into it, they will listen to you. So there must be genuine admission. You must be able to point to her or him what you have done that is wrong. And you must also create the possibility of hope that in spite of all that, there's still hope. And your love for him or her is still strong. And you are doing all these things because you want the best out of him. So when you give him those assurance and other things, and it must be demonstrated. When there's a demonstration that truly you care, you are interested in there are other options that you can link him to, people that you respect, that you also know that you respect. They are people. So let's build a network of fathers. We must build a network of people that we must also have mentors in various fields of speciality. So that when it comes to finances, you have somebody at the financial, who is a financial guru, will be able to help you. When it comes to something like dressing, come to various areas so that we can link our children to them. So what I do is that I try to, as many people that I know, I try to link my children to them. Okay. So that when there are areas that they are not expecting, I can easily fruit to them saying, So that is one of the things that and then we also have family meetings where we discuss things that we have done that we know. So we let them, this year, what have I done that you think I can do better? So we create an environment where we give feedback. Okay, which areas have I done that you think I should have done better? Have I played my role as a parent this year very well? And then they'll give me feedback. And sometimes I'll let them write 3 things that you've seen that, and we'll discuss it. And then everybody will see, so, you've done this that we don't like, with this that you don't like, what I could have. Then we are in the atmospheres of love. So we don't personalize it, and then let us all get objective feedback about ourselves so that we have the intention of improving what you want to do. All these things, they help.
Earlier you mentioned how you communicate. Please elaborate on that. How can you communicate? I mean, you have an adolescent boy. So he's in his 20s, early 20s. Who is
an adult then?
He's an adult.
Yes,
he's an adult. But maybe due to certain circumstances, is unable to take care of certain things on his own. So he's still under your roof. Quite disrespectful, not listening to you, being stubborn, still being friends with certain people he's not supposed to be friends with, and all of that. When you say how you communicate, how should you do it?
You have to be practical as possible. So one of the ways is you have to find out from him why he has been doing some of the things he does.
Okay.
So, and that you have to study the mood, because some of them, they also reflect. They are human beings, and there's an element of rationality. When our conscience is our best judge, so he does certain things that he knows that they are wrong.
He's aware he's doing the wrong things, but he's still doing it. Maybe to retaliate.
Maybe. And sometimes for attention.
For attention.
So you let him know that you like to understand why he does some of this.
Okay.
And then based on the mood that the environment that you create, he can be able to tell you. So don't be in a position to get everything one day from him. It must be consistent, and then it must be strategic.
Okay.
So that you get those information from bit by bit, and then based on what you get, you analyze it, and then you propose solutions. Sometimes based on if you are couples, and then you discuss with your wife what he has learned from you. And sometimes you can shift some of the things to your wife to be able to handle that. And then you know the strength of your wife, and you also know your strength, and then you also handle some aspect.
Okay.
You have other mentors that you also have confidence in, and then they can handle some aspect. You also shape those things. So, but you let him know that you let these things, you may not be able to, you have a limited knowledge how to handle this. So let other persons speak to him. And it helps.
Okay.
So let's come to that. And when we are at fault, that is one of the challenges that parents have. You admit that, Kofi, in fact, I did these things, and I think
I'm aware that I was in the wrong.
I didn't do it as well. So please forgive me. And then this is not either out of excitement or out of this thing. I did this without being aware, and I pray that you forgive me. And then where he does, that is something that is commendable. One thing that I've also learned is that before even you say negative things about what they've done, see anything positive that they've done. Okay, that's a Kofi. In fact, the way you washed my car yesterday, I really like it, and I appreciate what you've done.
Yes.
Wow.
That's it. Then after you've done that, you comment him. Then you bring in the negative aspect. But I wish
yesterday, this thing that you did,
so
yeah,
and in a relaxed environment, and then but when you are so always like legalistic, the emotional aspect is very key, and if you don't attach it, sometimes you can't solve it with, so much criticism.
Okay, all right. So I wish we had more time to talk about. Yes, unfortunately, we do not have that much time. So let me take your final submission briefly, Ethel. So finally,
thank you so much, Joy Prime, for this opportunity. I just want to tell parents that Frederick Douglass once said that it's easier to build strong children than repair broken men or adults. So this is your opportunity. This is your time. If your child is young, this is the time to put in all that you can so that you will not have regrets in the near future. And also we'll be having our Moms of Boys Breakfast forum on 1st May and 21st May. So those who can attend the holiday edition is 1st May. Those who can attend the weekend edition is 25th of May. I'll be there with Uncle Eddie to interact with parents. We'll be taking an exercise from this book called Wise Parenting. So they should come and participate. They can call me on 054-593-0921. 054-593-0921 for more details. All right. All right, Edmund.
So parents out there, all hope is not lost. There's still room for improvement. It is our responsibility to build a generation that would like them to be what we intend them to be. Let's have the patience, let's guide our children, and let's know that they are the asset that we have. And when you need any other support, we can help you so that you'll be able to build up their children to their expectation.
Thank you so much for your time this morning, viewers. I hope that you have learned a lot from this. And we hope to continue the conversation in weeks to come. My name is Asieduwaa Akumia, and this has been Let's Talk Relationship right here on Prime Morning. My guests have been Edmund Awaitey, who's a father, he's an entrepreneur and the founder of Value Added Books, and Ethel Adjololo Marfo, BoysDocta. Yes. I think on social media is BoysDocta_Ethel. All right. Founding director, JSA Boys Mentorship. Thank you so much for your time once more. Viewers, this is when we end Prime Morning on Joy Prime. Please make sure you tune in again with us tomorrow at 6 a.m. sharp. Myself, Rosalind Felly, and KMJ will be here to serve you. Have a wonderful day. Text.